Dr. Temple asks, um, how is the essentially how is the brick and mortar practice setup different from an online course business? Because you've had a unique perspective of running both, and now I'm very excited to hear that you're saying that you can actually replace not just your clinical practice, but your entire um, private practice. So I'm actually curious to know how you would compare these two business models.
Yeah, that's right. So I've done both, right? So I have two businesses now, and well, I have multiple, but it's between just these two, the brick and mortar one takes uh, 10,000 times more work than this one. And so, I would say, if you're just getting started, if you, let's say you don't currently own your own business, you don't own a private practice like I do, right? You're just an employee in a hospital or whatnot. If I were to start the one that's much easier, the one that's 10,000 times easier to get going with less headaches, work, lawyers and paperwork and hiring and firing employees and all that stuff, insurance panels. By far, it is doing the online business. It's not even close. And because you can set this up in I literally set this up in the last couple months. Whereas to create my own brick and mortar location and actually get it profitable, running, hiring employees, to get it to a level where it's doing well, it can take years and 10,000 times more hours of work. So it's not even close between the two.
Wow, wow. I wasn't expecting that. I mean, because you're actually doing both simultaneously, right?
Yeah.
How big is your practice actually?
So we have so the group practice that I started cold. So when you start cold, it means you have 0 patients on day one. No one even knows you exist, but you just created the business and you open it up, right? You had a grand opening party and all that. And so now we've got 17 employees, there's 3 doctors, and I'm actually booked solid every day at that practice, seeing patients. And so I'm busy. I'm not someone that had to do this online course because I wasn't succeeding or anything like that. No, I'm doing quite well. But again, between the two, the online business is much easier to get going.
And you started this by yourself, basically.
Yeah, by myself.
Yeah, and so just the overhead, the hiring. You did this by yourself. You don't need a film crew like you talked about. You don't need people following you around. You don't even need an expensive camera. Um, and
That's right.
That's one of the amazing things. And I was actually gonna go somewhere with that, but yeah, it's just kind of crazy that you're able to, or we were able to, just have a computer, internet connection, computer, just get started, just right away. Some people might still think that the brick and mortar setup is uh is better though. So I was actually I actually chose this question because I was actually really curious on how this was actually different. Um, I've seen I've seen like in terms of business models, I kind of see the brick and mortar setup like starting a restaurant in Chinatown, not necessarily like a private practice, but I'm talking about just brick and mortar stores in general. Um,
Yeah.
I have a lot of immigrant family friends. They would come across to America and they would start up a restaurant, a Chinese restaurant, of course, in Chinatown. And in terms of just a business model, it's you can't go more homogenous and undifferentiated than that. You're literally in a town called Chinatown, where literally every single restaurant is Chinese food. So
Yeah.
there's no possible way to compete. And on top of that, the profit margins are sh- hairline, and the staffing costs, the product costs, food is also perishable. So just thinking about the accounting, it gives me a headache and an aneurysm already. Um, Actually, that without rambling too much, that was actually my question. So, what would the profit margins actually look like from the brick and mortar setup versus the online course setup?
Yes, I don't know how it is in every field, but in optometry at least, or eye care and ophthalmology, it's usually the margins are, not the gross margin, not the gross profit, but the net income could just range between like 20 and 30%. So 20 and 30%. So let's say you make $1 million, you make $200,000 to $300,000, right? Now, whereas this online course, right now the margin is more like 80%. For me, it's actually more right now. But I suspect it's because I'm just getting started and it's early. I think my margin will go down, but I'd be happy with like 70%, 60%, 50% compared to what I've had in the past. And so it's much easier. Again, the reason why is because no overhead. I didn't need to buy anything. I already have a laptop. You don't even need a mic. You can just use your laptop. Use your MacBook. It's fine. That's all you need. And then 0 employees. And so yeah, this one's much easier. It's not even close. I have to manage 17 employees when I go into my practice.
Yeah, that was very interesting. Because you know, I'm always curious to know the business side of things, and like you have a very unique perspective. So that was a very interesting answer. Another question that the community asked, and is Dr. Sid Williams. She asked, what was the experience like with our support? So the Q&A, the community. I don't think we talked too much about that in the last interview.
Yeah, one thing I'm really happy about is that right now I'm really happy how much. I want to be careful saying this because if this video goes on, people are watching it. But I'm really happy how much how much access I have to you, Dr. Zoda. And I don't think that is always the case because you're the principal. You're the owner and founder of ChessaZoda.com. Obviously, it's not as if I'm talking to someone you hired and you have farmed out the work. I'm going to you as the owner and founder of the work in a way. And anyone that knows this, whenever you're working with an owner, whenever you're working with someone that it's their own business, that's usually the best person to ask questions to. So I'm always impressed that I have that access to you, and I'm always impressed by the fact that I can jump on a Saturday call and ask 1,000 questions, and you'll answer every single thing if I wanted to. Luckily, I haven't done it to you, but the good news is that I shouldn't need to at the same time because most of the information is already in the course. But I'm basically been very happy about how much access I've had, and if you get stuck, you don't need to do it by yourself. You can just ask, and Chester should be able to help you.
That's amazing. Thank you for saying that. I mean, that really warms up my heart. But I think that's one of the benefits of having to being able to work less so you can serve more. I remember like it wasn't always like this. When I was still working at the hospital, burnout. We only have 24 hours in a day, and there's only so many patients that we have to take care of. And if your time is stretched, then the patient care and patient attention that you give to each individual is also going to be shrunk. And I never really felt like this because I felt like I could give more, I could serve more, I could help more people. But I was, because of the constraints of time and because of the constraints of my own energy levels, it was always like just shrunk. I couldn't give the people the attention that I wanted to give them. And I'm really quite happy with this setup actually, because I get to work with people that are committed, like yourself. They enter the program, they want to serve more people, their intention is in the right place. And I help them cross that chasm by simply packaging the expertise that they already have in the online world onto the internet. And I take great pride in helping them. My team and I take great pride in helping them cross that chasm. And so, like personally, I feel like this is really my calling. I find this much more fulfilling, and I can serve more people without having to basically stretch myself thin. So it really warms my heart when you say that, because that's what I was planning on like all along.
That's excellent, exactly. And for me, it's been check. I think it's been a complete win-win. We work together, and in a way, and I feel like you feel that my success is part of your success, and that's why it's nice to have someone rooting for you. And but more importantly, someone that's actually achieved that level as well, and kind of helped baby me through it, and literally like spoon feeding me as I go along. And so it's been quite easy in a way. I haven't had to recreate the wheel. I don't feel as if I'm going to hit a wall because I know that I've got some help.
Just perfect. I think you also said like we should get matching hoodies, right? And take a selfie together.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's gonna come.
I will eventually fly to Hong Kong someday once my kids are older, and then we'll meet, and then we'll hang out. We'll have a meal. It'll be fun. We'll get some dim sum or something.
100%. Yeah, looking forward to that day. I actually might come to California as well next year.
Oh, hey, yes, come on by. Yeah, hope you're in Southern California.